I'm Dr. Crosby, and I want to kick today off by introducing you to someone special in my life. This is my grandfather. My grandfather and I share a lot of things. We share a name, we share an affinity for Russian literature, and we share a love of entrepreneurship. But the connection doesn't stop there, because I was actually born on the 2-year anniversary of my grandfather's death. So, while I never got to meet my grandfather, he's had a huge impact on my life. He was a successful business owner, a great man, and a great father, but his life was cut short right around his 43rd birthday. The knowledge of that and growing up with hearing stories about him has led me to a sort of obsession with coming up with rules for successful living, coming up with how do you craft the good life, because nothing's guaranteed. We don't all get the 80 years that I think we all think we will get. So today we're going to talk about some of these rules that I've found and that you'll see in the literature, rules for living a fantastic life. But it's going to be more of a punch in the face than a pat on the back. So if the title didn't tip you off to that. So the first hard truth that I'm going to face you with is that you're not special. Okay? Bunch of TEDx attendees, you probably think you're something else, right? Smart people that come out to these things, well, I'm not fooled, you're not special. In America, we have an obsession with uniqueness, with specialness, and with giftedness. But it turns out that this obsession and this fascination with specialness has a real dark side too. Because once someone thinks of themselves as innately brilliant or innately special, they begin to see themselves as sort of removed from the rest of us. And this is problematic for a couple of reasons. One, it leads to entitlement. A lot of the friction we see in the workforce today is a generation that was raised being told they were very special, bumping up against generations that were not told something similar. The other thing that it does that I think is even a little worse is that once someone has been crowned as special, they're really reticent to engage with life, because we all get that life is messy, and we all get that if we do engage with life, we're gonna screw up sometimes, we're gonna fall short, and we're not always gonna get there. So a lot of times the research shows us that kids and people, adults even, that are told that they're special, told that they're gifted, and told that they're unique, fail to try. They don't even put that foot forward because they don't want to risk the messiness of life, messing something up for fear of losing that special moniker. So the most groundbreaking, oft-quoted study on specialness and giftedness was a study performed by a Stanford psychologist named Lewis Terman. Lewis Terman assembled the greatest bunch of little nerds ever known, with an average IQ of 151, right? So the average IQ is 100, and a standard deviation is 15 points. So at 151, you're like 3.5 standard deviations above the mean. These kids were brilliant. And what he did was he performed a longitudinal study, which means he followed them over the course of their life. And he called this Terman's termites. I don't know, right? Terman's termites, how to bring them back down to earth. So over the years, the termite study is still going on, actually. There's still people alive, even though Dr. Terman himself is not. There are still people taking part in this study. But the findings from the Terman's termite study have been notable for not being all that notable. You get a bunch of kids with a 151 IQ and you follow them across the lifespan, and what you see is, yeah, like, you know, for the most part, they're successful. They publish scholarly papers, they go to grad school, but none of them really rocked the world the way that Dr. Terman thought he would. However, one person involved with the study did rock the world. And his name is William Shockley, and probably many of you have never heard of him, because William Shockley was not included in this Terman's termite study because his IQ was not high enough. Well, William Shockley won the Nobel Prize and was voted one of the 100 most influential thinkers of the 20th century by Time magazine. Okay? It just goes to show he's living proof that it's not all about specialness, that it's about being special and that unique combination of hard work and grit and determination. William Shockley's story, though, has an unfortunate asterisk, and it is that having been hit by the stick of not special enough himself at a young age, he later hit others with that stick and became a proponent of what's called eugenics. William Shockley actually vocally advocated that people with an IQ less than 100 be sterilized and not be able to have offspring. So we see specialness is an American fascination, but it's not one without a dark side. So it's my proposal to you that we stop worrying about what gifts we came with and whether or not we're special, and worry a little bit more about what we're doing with those gifts.